This is Inside Yale Football, brought to you by Yale All Access. Welcome to another edition of Inside Yale Football, joined by the head coach of the Bulldogs, Tom Williams. And Coach, we'll talk first about Saturday's game against Brown and your thoughts on that one.
I'm cranky still, Ron, because we didn't play very well, and we didn't play well when the stage was at its brightest, and I still got to figure out what makes our guys tick so that we can put our best foot forward in games when it counts. And so far there's a disconnect, but we'll get it figured out.
Coach, the Harvard, Yale, Princeton, we like to call it Yale, Harvard, Princeton around these parts.
You bet.
These next 2 weeks coming up, this is your third go-round through these two rivalry games back-to-back. Yale's the only of the three schools that has them back-to-back.
Yes.
What are your takeaways from the first two, HYP series?
Well, the first thing I think is that it is difficult to prepare for two emotional rivalry games consecutively. I think that there's an energy that's required to play in these types of games, and to try to recreate it 2 weeks in a row is difficult, but that's our challenge. We didn't make the schedule, we just got to play it. So we need to come out this week against Princeton, because they're the next opponent, and put our best foot forward. We need to learn how to execute in big games, and then obviously in the Harvard game we need to execute on an even bigger stage.
And Coach Koza always liked to say that you throw the records out the window in those games, and I think on both sides that has certainly played itself out the last 2 years in all four games between those two schools.
Yes, in every rivalry game I've ever been associated with, the team with the best record, the team that's supposedly the best team, doesn't always win. The team that plays the best, and there's a lot of different motivations in a rivalry game. So we will endeavor to be that team the next 2 weeks.
It was funny watching some of the NFL games this past Sunday, and a lot of analysts and media personnel were making snap judgments about certain teams and certain players, and then they come back in a game and all of a sudden the story changes. I think we live in a culture where people are quick to make a snap assessment, and sometimes it sticks and sometimes it doesn't. 8 weeks into this season, what are the characteristics that you think define this football team?
Well, as you mentioned, that's the nature of the business that we choose. Everyone's got their opinion. You're a genius one week and you're an idiot the next. But we just know that all we can control is our preparation and getting ourselves ready for the next football game. I think the thing that you can see from our football team is we play hard, we play with great effort. Our guys never give up, and because of that we have a chance to win games. Now, doing those things is not enough. You still got to be able to execute, and especially when the game is big, and we've got to figure out a way to get that done.
Coach, our guest tonight is going to be Colin Bibb as a player, and I want you to talk about him for a minute. He impressed me a lot this season. A lot of the practices I went to, he was banged up at the start of the year, and he was always out there, one of the last guys off the field, working to get back to play. And what are your thoughts on his contributions this season?
Well, Colin's been a great player for us when he's been healthy. I think the biggest thing he's got to do is stay out of the training room. But certainly when he's on the football field, he's a fantastic contributor. He's got all the measurables that it's required to be successful for his position. And he's also a very tough guy. So I expect big things from him going forward.
All right, thanks, Coach. We wish you best of luck against Princeton on Saturday.
Thank you very much, Rob.
That's Tom Williams, the head coach of the Bulldogs.